Hi guys, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to start building this functionality. In this functionality, there are two elements. This is the span element. It is also the span element. We can drag the both, but here when we take any of the element on the div, so a style is applied on the div and the text is printed inside the div. Here you can see that this is the text. Drag over, and when we take it away from the div, so it is drag out, and when we take it here, drag over, and when we leave it, so here it is dropped. Now we are going to build this functionality. Here is, you see that the file this is the previous one file this is the functionality that we have created in the previous lecture, and now I'm going to create another file. Here is this, that is for this. Here is droppable, because in this lecture I'm going to teach you can create a droppable div where you can drop the element and remove all of this content from here. Here is this, and this is the first div that we need. Remove it, and now execute this page, and here is the 129. And now we have to create another element like this. Here is this. Here is drag 2 and drag 1. So now there are two span elements, and now here I'm going to create a div. Here is the div, and here it have the ID drop. Here we can drop the elements, and that's why I have called it drop. And here you can see that like this, and this div have, I'm gonna inspect this color. I'm gonna guess its color. What is its color? Here is the background color, FFE6E6. So in this way you can check the CSS that I have applied on this div. You can check its code. I have teach this thing at the start, maybe I have teach, but I have not remembered. This is the part of the HTML and CSS, and now I'm going to give the style to this div, and here is hash drop, and here is this, and now here I'm going to apply 300 pixel width. Here is height. Here is height 200 pixel, and then here is, I'm gonna apply the border on it, white color border. Here is 1 pixel solid, and here is white color border, and then here is the color of the text is black, and I'm gonna give it the background to this div. Here is the hash FE6E6. This is the color that we have checked, and here this div is created. Now we have to apply the functionality. When we drag it, we can drag these elements here in this div. Here is this. So first of all, we can drag both of these elements. We have to apply the draggable functionality on both of these elements. Like here you can see that draggable, both are draggable, and how we can apply here in this way. Here is hash drag 1, and here is hash drag 2, and dot drag able, and here is containment. Here is this, and in this I'm gonna write document, and then here is the cursor is pointer, here is pointer, this is just by an error pointer, and then here is the next property that I want to apply is the revert is true. Revert is true. So now both are draggable, and here is this, and here you can see that both are draggable. And now we have to apply this functionality when we drag these things over this div, so its style is changed and the text is appear inside the div. When we take away from the div, so here is drag out, and when we drop it, so here is the drop text is printed, and the div and the style is removed. This div is droppable because we drop these things on this div, so that's why it is droppable. We have to apply the functionality droppable on this div. So how we can apply? Here is the div, here is droppable. Here is the droppable, and now we can this div is become droppable. Now we cannot see any effect, but I will show you here. And now here I want to tell you something. When we take this element over this div, so its style is changed, border is applied, the border color is changed. So how we can apply it? Here we have to build a class. We have to give a class. Here is this, and here is its class name is border, and we will give this class to the div when we drop anything on it. And here is border, color is just in border color, and here is it become red. So now this class have the functionality, the border color is changed, and I'm going to give this class to here is hover class, and then here is border. So now this class is apply on this div, and when we take the mouse over that div, when we take the element on that div, so here is, so now why it is not apply here? This border color is not applying because we have applied a border here to the div, so by the jQuery it is not applying, and here I'm gonna apply it. I have removed the border from the div, and when we drop anything, or when we drop any element on this div, then this class will be applied on this div. Here you can see that when we drop anything, here you can see that when we take any element on the div, so then this class will be applied. Here you can see that this div is droppable, and also hover class. When we take any element on this div, so then this class will be applied. And now here you can also define many other properties like tolerance. Here is the tolerance. So first of all, what is the tolerance? Here is, I'm gonna touch. First of all, we can give it the value touch. So what is the touch value for it? When we touch the element with this div, so the class will be applied. Here you can see that when we touch it, here you can see that we have just touched it, and we have many values like intersect. So now see the effect of the intersect. Here is when we take the half element in it. Here you can see that this is not half. When we take it half, here you can see that this is the half, then this class will be applied. So this is just the different values. Here is the fit is also apply, and here is when the element fit in it. Here you can see that it is not applied, the class is not applied. When this whole element fit inside it, here you can see that now it is fit, and then it will be applied. So these are the values that we can apply on the the droppable div in which we can drop any element. And now we have to print the text that is when we are dragging the element. And here I'm gonna show the possible values of the tolerance. We can put touch, or another value is intersect. So now we are going to apply these callback functions. These are the callback functions. Here you can see that when we drag over it, so here it print dragging over. When we take away, so it is drag out. If you are not able to see it clearly, so now here is the text, and here is when we take it here, drag over, drag out. And when we leave it, so, or when we leave over the div, here you can see that leave it, so here is the dropped. So in this way, here I'm also going to zoom it. And now let's do this thing. So how we can do it here is here. And now here what we need to do here is, first of all, I'm going to apply the callback function over. When we drag over the div, that is the start. When we drag over the div, when the element is over the div, so here is we can print in the div here is here div have the id drop, and here is drop dot text. Here is the text that we can apply when we dragging over the div. So here is dragging over div, and here is, let's look at it. Here is, and now when we, here you see that we are dragging over the div. So now when we take the mouse away, so we can also apply another function, that is out. When we dragging out the div, here is out, and here is a function, and here is, and now here is drag out of div, and refresh it. So now here you see that dragging over the div. When we take out the div, so here is dragging out of the div. And now there is another is drop. So what is the drop? Drop callback function will be apply when we drop the element over the div. So here is copy this, and here is drop on div, and here you see that dragging over div, dragging out of div. And now when we leave over the div, so here is drop on div. But if we drop anywhere else, so it is not drop on div. So these are the functions that we can apply. And another thing that we can apply the acceptance. Like here, when we drag this first element, so all the things are applied, but when we drag the second element, so nothing is applied. So this is acceptance. We can apply it. Acceptance, here is the accept property, and here we can write the element id. Here is accept only the first element, drag one. Here you can see that this is the drag one. So now only the first element is going to be accepted. So now here is, but we can also apply the acceptance of the second element like this. So the second element will be accepted, first is not accepted, second will be accepted. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any problems, so kindly add the discussion. I will help you as much as I can. Thank you for watching this video.